Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online, Shadowbringers. In the last episode, we kind of cleaned up a few things in the main story. Had a saw Thaler and his friend off as they go off to do whatever it is they're going to go do. I reviewed the situation, the current situation with the Exarch. Had a nap in our in-room. Caught up with Grandson from the role quest line that we've done. And, yeah, saw a cutscene that seemed to indicate that something was going on with Xenos and the white-robed figure that is with him that seems to have the same voice as the guy who was Yotsuyu's brother, who last we knew of him, he was dead. Yotsuyu killed him. So, not sure what that is. Maybe another Ascian. Because we know that there's more Ascians beyond, you know, Emet-Selch and La Habrea and Elidibus. Those are just the three that were not divided. But, you know, let's see, there was another Ascian, Nabrialis, and Yorgurim. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. But, you know, we've encountered a couple of others, killed them as well, so there's probably more kicking around. So, at this point, we are out of main story quests to do until the next major patch comes out, which I'm thinking is going to be a month at most. So, we shall see. So, we need something to do in the meantime. And the thing that I've decided to do in the meantime is begin working on the raid quest series that involves Thancred and Reen's investigation of the Empty and their encounter with Eden. So, we're going to go ahead and do that. You know, and we basically saw that in the cutscene at the end of, you know, the primary story of Shadowbringers after we defeated Emet-Selch. So, we're going to go ahead and see how that has progressed. And I believe that this is the actual quest you need to take. Yes, in the middle of nowhere. There it is. One of the Crystarium guards is particularly relieved to have found you. Alright, so let's go ahead and get it started. Ah, Yame. Have you seen Reen? She's been looking for you. Wait here, I'll go and get her. Ah, there you are. The truth is, I need your help. Now hold on, I haven't even told you what it is yet. After you defeated Emet-Selch, I sensed a strange concentration of light somewhere far to the south, in the Empty, the lands that were once swallowed by the flood. I can't tell what it is, but we have to find out. For all we know, it might even be another Light Warden. Whatever it may be, I don't intend to stand by and watch. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Thancred, Eorzea, and I have a few theories that we plan to test once we find whatever's causing this. The three of us were reluctant to ask for your help, considering everything that you've been through. The thing is, you're the only person who can defeat a Light Warden without becoming one yourself, so we have no choice. Well, I mean, technically you probably could. While we don't want to jump to conclusions, it would be a good idea to have you there, just in case. So will you come with us? I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you, Ayame. This means a lot. First of all, let's head to the derrick in Amareng. Thancred and Eorzea should have everything ready by now. Alright. One thing I do want to do is see if I can put together a new glamour look for this class. Something to work on off screen. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and head out to Amareng. And head down here to the derrick. And that is an interesting piece of equipment there. Alright. Read. I hope the desert creatures didn't give you too much trouble on your way here. They didn't give me any trouble. I doubt they posed any sort of challenge to her. Would that I could say the same with confidence about whatever fiend may be waiting us out there. Even if the light that Reen sensed turns out to be nothing of consequence, the empty is hardly the most welcoming of places. Anything that could survive out there is not to be trifled with. Excuse me. Moreover, it should be reiterated that the light-blasted wasteland poseth as severe a threat as any foe we might face. In any event, we are in agreement that this phenomenon doth warrant investigation, though for lack of more precise means of navigation, we must needs rely on Reen's innate abilities to guide us. I have formed several hypotheses regarding the nature of the light, but speculation is a poor substitute for first-hand observation. There'll be plenty of time for us to talk about it on the way. Alright, is the Sky Slipper ready, Thancred? Ready to take us wherever we need to go. Aye. Back again too, maybe, if we ask it nicely. Though the light hath been expunged from Norvrand, the ambient ether of the empty is still corrupted, dangerously so, in fact. The flood of light devastated everything in its wake, the soil, the air, the water, all rendered incapable of supporting life. 'Tis due to this imbalance that the empty remaineth utterly uninhabitable, even a century thereafter. That's why we're taking every possible precaution. Between the aetherometers I've packed and Reen's unique abilities, we should be able to detect and measure any fluctuations in our alignments. According to the Crystarium scouts, a few days out there won't affect us to any noticeable degree. Much longer than that, and we risk becoming sin-eaters. Since we still don't know how Chocobos and Amra will fare in the empty, we opted for a more mechanical mode of transportation. This comes courtesy of the researchers at the Mean, who found it in the Crystal Tower and restored it to working order. It's quite safe, I promise. The person in charge said he'll have parts delivered from the Crystarium should anything break. He seemed quite eager to see what we bring back from the empty. Even though I told him we're not hunting for treasure, I'll introduce you if we have a chance to stop by Mordsuk at some point. Anyway, I think that covers everything. When you're ready to leave, just say the word. And I don't see why we aren't ready to leave, so let's go ahead and go. Oh, well then, shall we? It seems to work. With a name like The Empty, I wasn't expecting much in the way of pleasant scenery, but this is downright depressing. To look on the land swallowed by the flood with mine own eyes, 'tis a chilling sight indeed. Approximately 9/10 of this world are as this, a slate all but wiped clean. Were it not for the warriors of darkness in Menphilia. Reen, are you sure we're heading in the right direction? Yes, I'm certain. There's no telling how far away it is, though. Nothing for it but to keep going, then. You two back there may as well take a nap. I have a feeling we have a good few malms ahead of us. Alright, I have to say, it's a touch larger than I was expecting. And is it sleeping? This is all very similar to the burn. Back in the source. No, it's waking up. I don't like the sound of that. Is it a light warden? No, I don't think so. Instead of being filled with light, it is light. The first Sin Eater. Long have I strived to unravel the mystery surrounding the flood of light, to discover what set that terrible cataclysm in motion. Every thread led to the same conclusion, the same single point. Or single being. I have reason to believe that the entity we see before us is the first Sin Eater, the instigator of the flood, the very foe Menphilia vanquished a century ago. She gave everything she had, and won. But this abomination could undo her work. Aye, the possibility cannot be denied, though it is oft said that destruction and creation are but two sides of the same coin. Reen, knowest thou of what I speak? The power to shape reality, to bend the laws of nature, for what was once shattered may be forged anew. That is all well and good, but don't you think we should give it a name first? Eden. Utopia in Fae, a most auspicious title. Now that that's settled, perhaps we should find a spot to set up camp. I even brought a couple of tents on the off chance, but pitching the damn things is something of a fine art. Does anyone fancy helping me? Pitching a tent can be somewhat challenging. Alright, well, here's our camp. Alright, let's talk to Reen. I never realized that putting tents up could be such a bother. Still, I'm glad that we got there in the end. Thancred should be back from scouting the area soon. Once he's here, we can plan our next move. Alright, during the course of your investigation, you may discover valuable artifacts. These can be exchanged for equipment by speaking with Gulgul and Mordsuk or Yal and Yulmore. Okay, yeah. So we get stuff from this. And so there's going to be a lot of references in this to Final Fantasy VIII, which is where this Eden actually comes from. I think this music is even a kind of reimagining of a Final Fantasy VIII piece. Alright. So let's talk to Reen again. Get the next stage of the quest. Reen waits anxiously for Thancred to return from surveying the vicinity. Alright. I wonder what's taking Thancred so long. Ah, there he is. Well, that was rather uneventful, not that I'm complaining. Did you find anything? No, thankfully. There's naught but barren plains in every direction, apart from Eden, obviously. I tried approaching it, and the brute didn't even seem to notice me. I thought it best not to tempt fate, so I withdrew. We should act now, before it's fully awake. Meaning what, exactly? When I think about the Flood of Light, I get the feeling that rather than destroying everything in its path, what it actually did was stop the flow of ether. Of course, that meant that all the plants, animals, and people here could no longer survive. They must have crumbled to dust in the years since. But the ether is still here, lying dormant. If Eden is the one that caused it, maybe it can get flowing again. I don't know for certain, but I think I can use Eden to bring life back to the empty. Now, hold on a moment. What makes you think that's even possible? And how do you expect to control that kind of power? Reen's aspirations may not be as preposterous as thou dost surmise. I believe Minfilia halted the Flood of Light's advance not by destroying Eden, but by silencing it. And in so doing, she hath gifted us an opportunity too precious to waste. Even now the flame of hope burns on. Aye, as Minfilia's successor, it standeth to reason that Reen doth possess the means to exert her will over Eden, but such a monumental task is not to be taken lightly. What sayest thou, Ayame? I imagine this is easier said than done. Yes, you're probably right, but I have to try. Very well, Reen. You've made up your mind, so how should we go about this? I have an idea. I have been studying it carefully ever since we arrived, and it seems to me that the light is more concentrated at a certain point. I suppose you could call it the core. That giant Talos had a core too, like a beating heart. They controlled the flow of ether. If Eden's core is the same, perhaps we could use it to restore the etheric balance? The theory is certainly sound. By employing Ethernet shards as beacons, perhaps we could trace the ethereal flow to Eden's core, and in so doing, secure the means to teleport to the very heart of the beast. Thankfully, the Settlement Council has kindly furnished us with a plethora of apparatus by which to perform such feats. However, we must needs first have Reen study the entity's interior and chart us a suitable course. Once we have reached our destination, I shall fabricate a means by which you may directly communicate with Eden, and mayhap exert a measure of control over it. You can really do that, Oriage? All credit is due to a dear friend, a gentle soul long since departed, who imparted to me a wealth of knowledge concerning aetherology. Moonbreda, I'm guessing. Although I am certain she would be all too quick to chastise my methodology. Excuse me for interrupting this trip down memory lane, but I doth imagine that Eden will be too happy about us, rummaging around in its innards, for want of a better term. In all seriousness, though, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of welcoming party arranged for intruders. Perhaps you had best lead the way, Ayame. It's true that she's the only one who can defeat a Light Warden, but I'd rather not rely on her any more than we have to. Yes, I haven't forgotten what happened when she absorbed too much light, but as Alice said, making promises you have no way of keeping is not a kindness. Now, I wish I could put down wardens myself, but the simple fact is I can't, and there's no point pretending I can. That's why I'm asking Ayame. Then perhaps I could. You already have a job to do, remember? The only reason this plan even has a chance of success is because of your involvement. We need you to concentrate on the task at hand and guide us to the core. Not only that, you'll have to keep an eye out on Eden. Keep an eye on Eden itself. If we somehow manage to make it angry, get us out of there. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Absolutely. Yep, this is what I do best. Head into the unknown and kill it with a giant weapon. Yes, I won't let you down. Though we will remain here, Reen and I shall do our utmost to guide thee along the ethereal stream. After thou hast breached the exterior, we shall remain in contact via these link pearls, courtesy of our comrades in the Crystarium. Being relics salvaged from the Crystal Tower, I fear they may be somewhat less reliable than those to which thou art accustomed. Excuse me there. Alright, Eda's Gate Resurrection is now accessible. Alright, so we all need to use the Duty Finder to enter Eden's Gate Resurrection. And these battles I have only ever actually played as a healer. So, I am going to be kind of unsure of how to do this as a tank. And considering the time... Well, you know what? Let me just join the queue and see what comes of it. Alright, well, let me give this a little bit of time, and if it activates in a reasonable amount of time, we'll go ahead and head on in. But if it doesn't, we might have to stop here. So let me just pause recording, and I'll be back once I've made a decision or it's ready to go. Alright, well, I've given it a little bit of time and nothing's happening. It's probably because it's, 5:50 in the morning. I'll have to try to try this again at a different time of day. But yeah, I think that's probably good for today. And so we'll go ahead and we'll run this boss fight that's going to be coming up here. Next episode, get through that, get the cutscenes, and try and get ourselves to the next battle as part of this this quest chain. Alright, so for now, we'll go ahead and stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.